Well, hello, and a very warm welcome back to the Andrew Eborn Show with me, Andrew Eborn. It's always a thrill on this show to bring inspirational people from around the world in these troubled times. That's what we need. Well, today is no exception. We have the queen of sophisticated soul, the Indie Soul Grammy winner, breast cancer survivor, and an unstoppable force of resilience. I'm delighted to welcome to the Andrew Eborn Show, Candace Woodson.
Hello, hello, hello.
Well, there you go. Bright and breezy, shy and retiring. It's lovely to see you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, Andrew. Really, I love my what it's my family across the water, but I just love you all. My family that's across the water. That's what I'll
Oh,
say.
no, and we love you over here. I've been seeing the reviews that you get. Absolutely superb. But let me take you back to the beginning. I mean, everyone says, show me a child to the age of 7, and I'll show you the adult. Talk to me about your earliest childhood memories. What do you remember growing up? What sort of music did you hear? What was your first ever sound?
I grew up in a gospel background, in a gospel setting. And my sisters and I, we used to sing, and we were called the Park Sisters. And my father was a minister. And we weren't allowed to listen to, let's say, the music that I actually perform now, because that was kind of taboo. So we would sneak and listen to the radio, and we would sneak and listen when we go to our family reunions. Our cousins would have all the top albums that were out. So we would just gravitate to it, just embrace it. Well, our parents did listen to a little of Motown, and they did listen to, believe it or not, country music, Hank Williams, music like that. But when we finally moved from Louisiana to Kentucky and my parents divorced, oh, it was just a wealth of R&B soul and just classic art. I mean, just classic soul rock. So we listened to everything by living in Kentucky. And that 7-year-old girl who now is 12 that has moved to Paducah, Kentucky, has found her place in music that she knows she loves to sing R&B and she loves to sing soul. So that's the way it happened.
Right. And as you say, you were one of the Parks girls. You were singing a cappella gospel in your minister
Yes.
father's house. It's always difficult when parents split. Do you remember the arguments? Do you remember what caused it? And how did you feel at that time?
Our situation was some of the things that you see on TV, but you don't believe that they really take place. It was a very abusive situation. Our father was not a good man, was not a kind man. And we had to portray as if we had this family unit every Sunday, although we didn't. And we basically had to run for our lives, for our safety, because it truly was that abusive and that dangerous. So you're looking at a product of a true survivor in so many ways, even from childhood of having to run from an abusive childhood from a father who was not well in any sort, in any shape or fashion, and our mother finding a way to let us escape that to where we could eventually have some type of normalcy.
Yeah, and it is difficult because a lot of people that will resonate with a number of people hearing here. I mean, during that time, as you say, you were banned from listening to certain types of music. How did
Yes.
you cope? What was your escape mechanism?
I think I've always had this something that I know is something better. And I would dream and I would visualize. I would see myself. I'm the girl that has the brush singing in the mirror. I'm the girl that's visualizing herself on stage and the gowns and I was just always the person in the family that brought the life to the party. And so I think having that imagination and also having, although he may have been abusive, our mom, she still kept us faith based. And so, still having a faith, a belief in God that he was in control of everything and somehow he would make things turn out for good. Just that belief, that imagination, that love for people, that love for life, all of it just coming together, it just helped me become who I am and never to give up.
Yeah, and it is important, isn't it? I think that's a sort of key message. I mean, you're saying that they discourage you, if you like, from listening to traditional music on the radio
Yes.
and so on and so forth. What was their reaction when you thought you were going to turn this into your career? How did they respond?
You would answer that question. Well, let me tell you, um, everyone had to adjust, I would say, because they needed to see we all sing about love. I don't care how religious we are. We all like a love song. We all sing about joy. We all sing about pain. So it doesn't necessarily have to be up under the gospel genre. It could be up under the inspirational genre, which is what I said I'm doing. I'm singing songs about love. I'm singing songs about hurt. I'm singing songs about pain. I am singing what even people who call themselves Christians want to listen to. So I'm doing it in a way that it's okay that everyone, no matter who you are, no matter what you serve, no matter what you do, it is a song, it's music that can comfort everyone. And they began to fall in line, and my mom became very supportive. My sisters became very supportive. And as a whole, all the families seemed to just, join in. And I ended up going to college on a commercial music scholarship to show that, hey, that I'm very serious about this.
And I think that's the thing, isn't it? Parents always turn around and say, you can't make a career of this. But when you got that scholarship, did the attitude change? I mean, you talked about your mother. What was your father's attitude?
Well, by this time, my father is out of the picture
And you didn't
because it
see
is,
him at all.
we didn't see him at all. After we left when I was 13, I never saw him ever again. And my mom, she became the single parent household mom to, basically provide for us, basically to help raise us to develop into adults. So when I received that scholarship, it almost showed that what I was always meant to do is not going to go away, whether you like it or not. Because even when I was 5 years old and my father was able to get this ministry job in Louisiana, I remember some church members coming over, and I remember him saying, sing something. So even at 5 years old, it was something different than the normal 5 year old. So I've always been different. It's been there. So the commercial music degree established that there is a foundation in this girl's voice that we need to all get on the bandwagon and support because it's not going away. It's not going away.
Yeah. Oh no, it's clear on that sort of basis. I mean, you've gone from success to success, but were you in touch at all with your father, or that moment that he left? Take me back to the day that he left the house. What was the last thing you said to him?
Well, it's ironic that you would say the last day he left the house because it was basically the last day we left the
Oh, so
house.
you picked up
Be-
and left because it was too
we
dangerous to
picked up
stay.
and left, like I said, for our safety because
Right.
it was no longer a safe or healthy environment. And so we came to Kentucky because that's where my mom's family,
Right.
that's where they are, and they embraced us and they allowed us to come and start anew. So I no longer had any type of relations with him after that.
And so he hasn't been in touch. He hasn't tried to reach you. Do you know, is he still alive?
Well, it's amazing that you say that. The timing for this question is somewhat ironic. He recently passed away
Okay.
last year, and I was able to tell him that I loved him regardless. He was able to tell me that he loved me, and there was the closure. And then he died. And so recently, he passed away last year.
And it is so important. People talk about closure. It is that
Yes.
moment, and they sometimes say, "Look, I wish I'd said this whilst they were still alive." Take me back to that last conversation that you had with him. What were the circumstances where you managed to tell him that you loved him and he loved you?
Well, I have to thank my middle sister because I'm the youngest. And so the middle sister, she said she felt like that that's what he was really waiting on, maybe waiting to hear from me. because he had gone in and out of a coma. He'd been resuscitated and different things. And so she said, I think you would feel better too. And she was right. I'm so thankful that she had insight to do that. And I told him that, hey, I love you. He was on his deathbed and he said, I love you too. And what was so ironic to me is that literally I had not spoken to this man since I was 13. And then once again in my 20s for a quick minute for something. And to know I had on sunglasses and to recognize me right away and to know who I was right away was very ironic to me. He didn't say, well, who is that? He knew it was me. So I was able to, like I said, to let him know that I love you. And, from there, he said he loved me. And that was the goodbye. And the goodbye allowed me to be okay, to know that nothing was left unsaid because
Yeah.
all that's needed to be said most of the time is just I love you.
Yeah. And absolutely. And how did your mother feel about it?
Well, he had apologized to my mom like several years ago. And so she was no longer like a part of the process because now we are adult children. He had apologized to her. So she was not a part of it. But I always got so tickled because he said to me, how is your mother? And I wanted to say, the same mother to the two sisters that's in the room with you.
Right.
But I was always extra close to my mom. I was the youngest, and I was on her hymn and on the family's hymn because of being the youngest. So it was kind of funny for him to say, "How is your mother?" And it was their mother too.
Right, right. And it is difficult because there's a lot of resentment when relationships don't work for whatever reason. There's a lot
Right.
of bitterness. Children often hear just one side of the story growing up.
Yes.
And people have to remember that there are human beings in all aspects, and everybody will have their own version of the truth, won't they?
Correct. Correct. And no one leaves with anything that hasn't been addressed. Everybody knows a situation, and everybody knows that, you know, it was a difficult time for everyone. And thank God that He brought us through it. And we're now, I think they are very proud of their daughters, me and my sisters and I. I think we turned out to be pretty good humans.
Yeah, oh, I think you've turned out to be an amazing human. But people going through it at the moment, then Candace, if there'll be lots of people where this will resonate, where they haven't spoken to somebody in their life.
Yes.
We're living in such troubled times at the moment. What advice would you give to them?
Well, you have to get rid of your pride because I can say that I had a lot of pride, a lot of resentment because of the way that I felt like, my mom was treated, the way we were treated. I felt like things were maybe not fair. And you have to get rid of the pride. You have to get rid of the blame game. Oh, this hasn't worked for me because of him. And yes, he was a part of my mental development. But you do get to a point to where you have to say, I'm going to forgive not for him, but for me. This forgiveness is for me so I can move on, so I can be free. So for those of you who are holding on to something, do it for yourself. Get rid of the resentment and move on and allow life to be enjoyable by not holding on to something that's beyond your control. You cannot control other people, but you can control yourself. And you can allow yourself to just display love and allow the Holy Spirit to just dwell in you and just move on and just allow great things to come your way. You will gravitate, it will gravitate to you, it will come to you. If you give out love, love is going to come back to you in return.
Yeah, and it's great advice. I mean, I always urge people build those bridges. It might be the
Yes,
last chance you have to have that conversation. So have those
correctly.
conversations now.
Correct. Correct.
Now, throughout your glorious career, it has been a glorious career that you've been set all sorts of challenges. You call it stick to itness, which is sort of helped you
You read
through.
everything.
I read everything. It's got to be good. I probably know you more than your mother knows you. It's got to. But one of the things that struck me, Candice, look, 28 days after you had major surgery in 2014,
Yes,
you performed at John Mellencamp daughter's wedding. Um,
yes.
Tell me what the doctor's exact warning was the night before you left hospital, and what did you say
Oh,
to yourself in the mirror that morning that the world has never heard?
it was Dr. Herman, and she's recently passed on, but I was so fortunate to have an amazing team. Friend Jenny was an amazing friend, and Dr. Herman and my family, and living in Hilton Head, South Carolina at the time, and the support group that was there. And when I told Dr. Herman, because I am a performer on the island, Candace Woodson and the Domino Theory Band, and it's like, okay, now this is stopping my life. You not understand? I perform 7 days a week, and we just need to fix this real quick. And I have the John Mellencamp's daughter's wedding reception. We need to make this quick. I said, we need to make this quick. And so she said, "How much time do you need?" I said, "I know I need at least 2 weeks." And she said, "How about we give it, right? You give me 3 weeks." And I'm like, okay. So 28 days, almost to the date after having the surgery, going through the recovery process, I was there. And another thing, and I was not going to let her down. She was such a good friend, and our children went to school together. And I knew
Is
she
that
was
how the request came about then to perform
That's
at the
how the
wedding?
request came about. And she was such a fan too. She and her husband would always attend my performances. I would always be at events and they would be there. And I remember her telling another mutual friend, "I want her to perform at my wedding." And so, that's such an honor. Your father is John Mellencamp, Cougar Mellencamp at that. And you see me because you've seen the best in the world. You have. And to be able to say, "I want her," I was not going to let her down.
Yeah, and I think it is that sort of resilience, isn't it? Not going to let people down. And the other thing, I
Right.
mean, you've obviously got your family's sort of struggles as well, because you raised two boys as a single mum, whilst
Yes.
also chasing charts and Grammys. Um,
Yes.
when Midas Touch hit number one, did one of your sons ever say, "Mum, you don't have to be perfect anymore"?
I have the best boys in the world. And they never, ever pressured me to be anything more than just their mom. And I think that was the reason why I wanted to show them that whatever I'm saying, I want to live by example, the stick to itness. They both are major tennis players. And tennis is a difficult sport mentally. You really have to have a strong head game. And I said, if I can lead by example to show that through my trials, I refuse to give up, then hopefully they'll see and they'll be inspired by that. And that's what they say. When Midas Touch came along, I have to thank Gary Vandenbush, and who is my, music promoter over there, and Andy T. All of them just rallied together to say, how can we help her cross over even more? So we know her through Steve Ripley. So now how can we just cross her over? And he introduced me to Nigel Lois. Nigel Lois is amazing because he's worked with Pat Benatar. He's worked with, I mean, anybody you can think of, he's worked with them. And we put together this album and we said we're going to call it Perfect because Gary Vandenbush had given me the song Trying to Be Perfect. But before then came the Midas Touch. And when we saw that Midas Touch, it had 5 lives. It was the original, then it was the Nigel Lois, then it was the Tom Moulton. Tom Moulton did it. Then it was the dance version, which ended up being number one on the independent Billboard charts, number one on the independent Billboard charts. So we said, wow, this song has so many lives. The album of Trying to Be Perfect literally did not come out until like a year later because Midas Touch truly had the Midas Touch.
Yeah. Well, Valerie Simpson, in Praise Indeed, she praised your vocal powers on trying to be perfect. But the song itself, I mean, it grew from your own relationship pain, really, didn't it?
Okay.
What exact moment inspired The Answer Is No? And have you ever played it for that person since it went to number one?
Now, wait a minute, Andrew. Wait a minute. You are being so messy. You are causing so much trouble. That person who it was written for actually called and said, "Is the song about me?" And I said, "No," because there's a lot of people that really want to say no, but do not have the strength. And really, an old college roommate, she was the one who told me, she said, when you become famous, there's going to be so many people who are going to be coming to you, asking you for opportunities and favors. She said, and you better tell them no. And I was like, that's a song. The answer is no. And I'm serious. From there, I thought about how I was in so many relationships that were not healthy for me. And I needed to be strong enough to say no, but I wasn't able to because I thought about them and not myself, or maybe my self worth was not where it should have been at that time. I'm not feeling worthy. And Andrew, I'm glad we're talking in this manner because as you can see, as a writer, as a performer, as a singer, I grow because from answer is no became trying to be perfect.
Right.
And by this time, after that answer is no, I'm realizing that, hey, I mean, I can say it, but I can sing it. The answer is no. And then from there, we move on. I've got the Midas touch, or baby, you got the Midas touch. And then from there, why are you all trying to force me to be perfect? Because I'm not. Nobody is perfect. So let's just leave everybody alone with that. And let's just embrace everyone as is and let them know it's okay.
And it's absolutely right, isn't it? And it's about that authenticity where you
Yes.
can turn around. A lot of people they write these love songs, which anybody can write the words and so on and so forth. And you can tell when people are genuine and they've gone through this emotional journey. Those are the ones that really touch people in that special way.
Well, thank you for that because I do feel so blessed that I'm able to share my gift and people can feel that the emotion is real, it is authentic. I want to just be an open book. I want to empower so many people to let them know don't give up. Don't give up on your dreams. I've been told no more than Dr. Seuss. I'm telling you, he was told no 400 times. I've been told no more than that because I've lost count. But no means just not yet. No, you're not the one. Every day, get 1% better. Every day, just do something towards your goal and just let it happen organically. And my fan base is organic, it's not bought, it's organic because I truly love them. I love you. I love what I do. It's my pleasure to sing for you.
Yeah, and in addition to the singing, you've also portrayed Phyllis Hyman on stage and paid her multiple tributes. What's the one thing her story taught you about this industry that you've never admitted publicly? And does it still terrify you that the same pressures could have claimed you?
Yes. The answer to that is yes. She endured a lot of pain. She was told they didn't know what to do with her. I was told we don't know what to do with you. The difficulty of trying to embrace this market and not being respected. And she was not respected in a lot of ways the way that she should have been. Beautiful person on the outside, but hurting in the inside. And I work very hard not to just be beautiful on the outside, but to be whole on the inside. That's where I want to make the difference, where she was maybe unable to complete for herself. But I want them to know that the Candace Woodson is constantly working on being okay with herself, no matter what.
You rarely speak. I mean, I always admire people in the public eye who do speak about their own troubles because it helps so many others. But speaking about the fear of your 2014 breast cancer battle is sometimes a difficult word because people think, well, it's a battle. Do you win or whatever it is? And it's not your fault if you don't. Was there a night alone after diagnosis or maybe during treatment when you wrote or sang something into the darkness that you've never shared? And what were the exact words?
Oh, now before I move on to that, I forgot one thing. I have Phyllis Hyman's jacket.
Aha!
Her family actually gifted me her jacket after I played her in the Stairway to Heaven play. So when your family can see that you truly embrace her spirit and know that you have that type of passion for an artist, that's a compliment within itself. So I need to make sure I remember that. I couldn't leave that part out.
Oh, no, no, it's important. Well, you have to show us the jacket. We'll get it before the end of the show.
All right, we'll do that.
I know
Yes, I would do
we
that.
love that. We so
That
do
would
that.
be great. Oh, that'd be
Absolutely.
great.
So
Now,
talk to me then about the cancer scare because there are lots of people. It affects so many people, either those who've been diagnosed or those who have family or friends who've been diagnosed. Talk to me about firstly when you received the diagnosis, how you coped with it, and what words did you say to yourself which people haven't heard before?
well, my story, unfortunately, it's not a good story because it could have turned out to be so much more devastating. I was misdiagnosed. I was told that I had a cyst and that it would go away. So I didn't think any more about it. I started not to go back to the doctor the next year to have a mammogram since I was told I was okay. And I said, "Oh, let me just go to the doctor anyway." Well, by doing that, when I got there, the doctor immediately says, "I see something and I believe it's a cancer." I'm like, "Well, I was just told I didn't have a cancer." And so I should be a very wealthy woman because I was misdiagnosed, and they based the medical community basically stuck together by not acknowledging that they misdiagnosed me because they were like it's slow growing. Well, based off of what? If I've never had it, then how do you know it's slow growing? And so, but then I just had to be thankful that I was still alive and thankful that I was able to and overcome it. The day that received the news, I actually performed that night. And my friend Jenny, that I was talking about, she could look at me and tell what was wrong. And I said, "They said I have cancer. They said that I had to have surgery." And she's like, "We're going to get through this." Well, along with that Hilton Head community, along with the Dr. Herman, and I'll never forget her nurse said to me, "Well, what troubles you? Why do you look so troubled?" I said, "Because I have to raise my son." My kids are actually 10 years apart. So one was 17, one was 7. And the one that was 17 was getting ready to go off to college, Eastern Illinois, on a full ride tennis scholarship. But here's this baby. And we don't like to follow the patterns of our parents, but I actually had been in an unhealthy marriage myself. So I knew that it would not be in his best interest if he did not have a mother still around to navigate maybe a situation that would not have been healthy for him without someone to be able to navigate in between it. So I said, "I need to raise him." And she said, "You will." And lo and behold, like I said, that 28 days got to doing that but I mean, let me back up. I auditioned for The Voice a year before that. And I was so upset and devastated that I didn't make it for The Voice because the judge let me sing all the songs, and everybody in the room knew I had made it. And then he says, "None of you are going to make it. None of you are ready for television." I'm like, "What? What? You got to tell me why. Why? What do I need to do? Are you serious?" And he's like, "Nope, you're just not ready." Well, what I realized is that when you make it for The Voice, when I read the contract, you have to have a medical exam. And have it, if I would have had that medical exam, because I'm finding out that I had cancer, I would not have passed. And I would not have been able to focus on my health. So it really worked out, even though I was so upset about not making it for The Voice. But there was a divine intervention saying that no, if you go there, you may would take too long for this. So we're going to put you over here because we know you don't need to be there. You need to be over here so you can get healthy and be able to share your story. And voila.
And what a great story it is. We're going to take a quick break. During that break, you're going to go dig out that jacket so we can see that. So fantastic stuff. So do stay with us. But for now, Candace, thank you very much for joining us.
I'll be back. Hi, everyone. It's your girl, Candace Woodson, the queen of sophisticated soul. I'm here with the great, my friend, Andrew Eborn Show. Hey, make sure you check out this show, subscribe, download, and check my music. I've been Indie Grammy winner. I've been #1 UK Soul Chart song. I've been Pop Award winner. Hey, we've done it all, and we're going to keep doing it. Keep it locked.